Charlie, it's time to go.
Yeah, hold on a sec, Mom. I just need to get something from my closet.
The only time I feel good falling is when I'm falling fast and hard for you. The last two digits when I'm calling fade away, but somehow I'll get through. The only time I feel good sinking is when I'm sinking fast and deep for you.
September 1st, 1992. Dear Bo, I hope this letter finds you well. I was thinking about you today, and I realized I never properly thanked you for everything. So thank you for the books, the talks, and for visiting me 2 weeks ago. And thank you for being a friend. A lot has happened since I last saw you. I'm doing better now. The hospital helped, even though it was scary at first. Talking about Aunt Helen and everything else that happened felt like tearing open an old wound. But I think it's starting to heal now. I'm learning it's okay to feel things, even the bad stuff. You probably already know that, but it's new for me. The thing that helped me the most, though, was when Patrick came to visit. He never changes, even in the hospital. He just cracked jokes to make me laugh and brought me a letter from Sam. She said she'd be back for Christmas, and if I got better by then, she and Patrick would drive me through the tunnel again. And this time, they'd said I could stand in the back of the truck if I wanted to. That made me feel infinite, even just thinking about it. I've been reading a lot more. I reread The Catcher in the Rye because it reminded me of how you said everyone feels like Holden Caulfield at some point. I also read The Fountainhead again to keep myself busy, and I've been trying to remember to be a filter and not a sponge. Not just in reading books, but also in how I see the world too. I think I'll miss advanced English classes with you a lot. I've been thinking about something you told me a while back, how we accept the love that we think we deserve. I'm working on that, and it's hard, but I think I'm getting there. By the way, thank you for inviting me to your wedding this November. It's really nice to have things to look forward to. I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you for seeing me, for reminding me I'm not just a wallflower. I think I'm finally learning how to participate. Love always, Charlie. September 2nd, 1992. Dear Sam, I went to the gemstone store with my sister Candace last weekend. Rocks and gems have been her latest obsession. She refused to drive, and I guess I didn't mind going with her either. The store smelled a little bit like an old cottage in the rain, if that makes sense. Candace said something about how each gem has a story, and I think that's beautiful. I don't know why, but it reminds me of you. It's been a long time since you left for Penn State, and I miss you a lot. I just started my sophomore year yesterday, which feels really weird. You know how nostalgia makes people look back on things and cry? That just happened to me. It's hard to believe how much has changed in 1 year. I remember being a shy kid who did not like high school at all to feeling like I actually belonged somewhere, to feeling infinite. I'll never forget the big smile I had on my face after we went through that tunnel trip for the first time. How we all laughed and lived in the moment, how infinite we all felt, how fearless and beautiful you were when you stood up and screamed, your dress turning into ocean waves. I don't think you'll believe me when I say this, but that moment, that's when I fell in love with you. I didn't know at the time, but because I was so focused on not thinking about you that way. But I do now. I'm writing this letter on the typewriter you gave me on my birthday/Christmas Eve, and it suddenly takes me back to that night. The night that I'll never forget. You were crying when you talked about how your dad's friend kissed you when you were only 7. I'd never seen those green eyes so sad before, and it hurt so much watching you cry when all I could do was listen. I remembered crying even harder when you kissed me because you just wanted to make sure the first person who kissed me loved me. It wasn't the kind of kiss that you saw in movies or like the way people always talk about these things. It was quiet and caring, the kind of kiss that made you know you had never been so happy in your whole life. I'm not sure if you get it, but I hope you do. Remember when you told me, you can't just sit there and put everybody's lives ahead of yours and think that counts as love? You know when words have such an impact on you that it feels like they were tattooed in your head? That's what happened when I heard you say that. And it's stuck with me ever since. After you and Patrick and everyone left, I haven't been able to stop thinking about what you said and what it means for me. The more I think about it, the more uncomfortable it makes me feel. And the more uncomfortable I am, the more I realize that it's true. I guess I just want people to be happy, no matter what. But you're right. It's time I started to do things, like you said. That sounds intimidating. That's a new word I learned from Candace. But I'll try. I promise. Love always, Charlie. September 3rd, 1992. Dear Patrick, it's been a while since you left for WashU, and I've already begun to miss hanging out with you and Sam. So much so that I've been thinking about all our experiences together. Remember when you, Sam, and I became friends at the football match last year? I know, old stuff. But I will never be able to forget the kindness and humor you showed me that night, even when I completely misunderstood your nickname Nothing. Gosh, makes me miss the three of us even more now that I've brought it up. Then, I thought of all the times we went through the tunnel together with Sam in her pickup truck, blasting Heroes by David Bowie. Those moments when we were infinite, were truly unforgettable. You know how I usually don't like to use complicated words in my writing? Well, our tunnel trips are an exception. I can only think of one word to describe them: euphoric. I'm so looking forward to winter break when you and Sam return from college. Then we'll get to pass the tunnel and exchange Christmas gifts again. Speaking of Christmas, remember when I gifted you a mixtape last year? It's funny how certain songs remind me so much of you, like Vapor Trail by Ride or Gypsy by Susan Vega. Since then, have you found any new favorites? If you have, please share when you reply. I'd love to listen to them too. I've always seen you as a positive person, so when the whole ordeal with Brad happened, I was really heartbroken to see you so devastated. That's when I realized even the happiest people will inevitably break down. Yet through that situation, you still found the strength to look out for me. I'll be honest, I had zero regrets punching Brad in the school halls because it meant relieving some of the burden on your shoulders, and I don't think I ever will regret it. I wonder if you know how much you've helped me. Without your guidance, I don't think I could have made it out of freshman year intact. You've taught me so much on navigating high school, relationships, and being true to myself. You've shown me so many cool places and have included me in every hangout, and for that I'll forever be thankful. Even when you were at your worst, with Brad being a jerk and all that, you still handled everything with humor, wisdom, and kindness. You have never failed to make me feel like I belonged. Thank you for being someone I can always turn to. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing okay. Wish me luck in my sophomore year. Love always, Charlie. September 4th, 1992. Dear Mary Elizabeth, it's only been 3 or 4 days into the school year and I already made a new friend, my deskmate Dash. Today, he brought me some books and I recognized so many of them as you've introduced them to me before. There was this one book called The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir, and Dash said that it's one of the most influential feminist books of all time. I had quite a hard time trying to grasp all the concepts and terms, to be honest, but I have to tell you right away because I know you would be excited. Do you ever feel like going away from home is like using your favorite teddy bear? It's warm and familiar, and no matter how many other teddy bears you may find, it's really never quite the same. I wonder how everything has been in Berkeley. It's daunting for me to imagine being away from home that far to study in a completely unfamiliar environment. I hope you aren't feeling too overwhelmed. Dash told me he had a sister who's majoring in environmental studies there. He said that she has strong opinions and also loves reading books on social issues, and it reminded me of you right away. Who knows, someday you might meet her and become best friends. That would make me so happy. Sometimes I still think about that night at Patrick's house when we played Truth or Dare. I knew I messed up really bad, and I don't feel like I deserved your forgiveness, but I'm so thankful that you're still here for me as a friend. Looking back on what we had, I don't regret anything at all, because if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have realized how much I needed to work on myself. I know you were only acting like that around me because you're interested in me, or maybe I gave you some type of comfort, and there's nothing wrong with that. Probably the most important lesson I've learned from our time together is that honesty is truly the best policy, especially in relationships. If I had been honest to you from the start, no one would have been hurt. It's great to have someone willing to listen to everything you have to say, but I guess it only really matters if they really mean it. It's great that you're now with Peter, who loves and appreciates you for who you are. I hope you're doing well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you and all of our friends again. Love always, Charlie.
You caught me as I was winking. Now I think my winking days are through. Could it be another change?
September 5th, 1992. Dear Senior Charlie, autumn has arrived, and you know what they say, autumn is the season of change. So, I've decided, why not write a letter to Senior Charlie as a way to look back and reflect. I'm sitting here writing to you while eating a cupcake that Mom got me. As I sat munching, I realized how much I love my family. Remember when Candace scolded me and told me to stop smoking, or when she smiled and said that she loved me very much? Or when Dad tried his best to understand and take care of me, even though he's usually quiet and distant? Everything seems so warm when we know we have our family by our side. Please, show them more love when they're around because they're your biggest supporters ever. I just finished writing letters to my friends. It has been about a month since they all left for college. Sam is now in her freshman year at Penn State, and the last time I called, she said she was having good fun. Patrick has started his first year at Wash U, and, as always, very cheerful and energetic when he called yesterday. Mary Elizabeth, as you know, went to Berkeley, and although I haven't heard from her since she left, I heard she was also doing well. I'm glad that all of them have started their new school year in the best way possible. Even though I can contact them whenever I want, I still miss them a lot. Long-distance friendships can be difficult, but the distance really does make me appreciate our relationships even more. It also makes me long for the holidays so we could all be together again. As for Bill, although he no longer teaches at my school, I sometimes visit him on the weekends. I have thought about how we accept the love we think we deserve a lot, and wondered if I really understood what it meant. Why do nice people choose to stay with partners who treat them like they're nothing? I think it's because their family has shown them love in a different way, and maybe that makes it harder for them to love and accept love for themselves. I know that there are more explanations than just that, but I haven't figured out exactly. I hope you have. I once thought, I think that if I ever have kids and they're upset, I won't tell them that people are starving in China or anything like that because it wouldn't change the fact that they're upset. Until now, I still believe that's true. Perhaps sometimes in our lives, we forget that every feeling is valid, that every feeling is worth feeling. I've learned to let myself process my emotions slowly, as it's the first step to healing. Don't you think every person is like a book? We choose to display what we think other people would find most appealing. We choose to summarize ourselves so other people would think we're easier to read. But behind the covers, we have our own stories, hidden from others, and only those patient enough will get to know our true selves. I thought of this the first time I saw my sister so depressed with her boyfriend. Behind the tough shell she had put on, she was still just the girl. Or the time Patrick's lively and cheerful cover was broken after the whole situation with Brad. Or Sam, when she found out that she had been cheated on from the very beginning. And Aunt Helen, too. A person who, behind her kind and generous cover, went through so much pain, and continued to pass that pain to her own youngest nephew. Everyone has their own story to tell, and I hope by the time you read this, you will have read so many more beautiful ones. I'm Charlie. Charlie, the youngest son of a family he loves so much that he can't put his love into words. Charlie, the boy who always tries to be there for his friends. Charlie, the one who was once so heartbroken but determined to get better every day. And Charlie, the wallflower he has always been, observing and understanding in his own ways. Love always, Sophomore Charlie.
Are you ready?
Coming, Mom.